All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Chillwave, and today I'll be moderating the SAS-K AI meeting. Our topic is about, will AI replace you? So I just first wanted to give a quick definition of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think, learn, and solve problems like humans. There are three types of AI: artificial narrow intelligence, which is good at doing only one thing, e.g., driving a car or playing chess; artificial general intelligence, which can do anything a human can do; and artificial super intelligence, which far surpasses what any human can do. So the first question I'd like to ask is, do you think you'll be replaced by artificial intelligence in your lifetime? And I'd encourage you to think of all areas in your life. It can be mainly work, but you can also think about dating. So, yeah, let's hear your opinions. I can see Dorcas's hand is up.
Yes, let me hit the ground running as people organize their thoughts. Um, do I think I will be replaced by AI in my lifetime? Yes, a big fat yes. I have already been replaced. I used to be an online writer. I used to make very good money from my gig. I used to have a lot of free time on my hands because I'd gotten really good at it. So I just needed a couple of hours to work. And then the rest of the time I was free and things were awesome. But alas, AI came into the picture. Chat GPT, the moment, by the way, there were other versions of AI. And I remember we had this AI discussion 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe 2 years or 3 years. I might be confusing the dates before we had begun live streaming our Zoom meetings. And the IT experts themselves were downplaying the effect of AI because most people were just assuming, it's a bubble, it's a sweeping cloud, it will just replace only the automated tasks. But it hit home when ChatGPT became popular. So in that regard, I have been replaced. Of course, it doesn't mean that now I lie low and say, I'm finished, I'm useless. No, 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 no. You readjust and you learn new skills that AI might not touch in the near future, in our lifetime. Maybe in our children's lifetime or in our children's children's lifetime, AI will definitely affect them. But as per now, I think AI will not affect certain jobs that require human empathy, um, human touch, and dexterity, human dexterity, because robotics, which are what would be required for AI to totally replace us in the workplace. Yeah, like for AI to do a doctor's job, a neurosurgeon's job from A to Z, I think the robotics must be a top notch. They must be faultless because there you're playing with life or death. Yeah. So I think by the time we get to that level, um, it will be decades, maybe 3 or 4 decades from now. But you can't tell. Those people 2 years ago they were saying, AI can't replace you. But look what happened with ChatGPT. So here we are. We don't know how far and how fast robotics can be, because if they are really efficient, we can find they're replacing even those doctors, they're replacing the plumbers. We are being told, go back to the trades, go and do be an electrician, be a plumber, be a mechanic, because that requires dexterity and your hands. But we never know how the progress will be. Anyway, I've spoken for too long. Let me leave it there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that input, Dorcas. Very interesting. As you were speaking, I just saw an article that said robot performs fast, realistic surgery without human help. And this was on 9th July, so it looks like we're in danger. But let's go to Morioki next. You're unclear, Morioki. I think there's something wrong with your internet connection. We still can't hear you, Morioki. Morioki, what's going on? All right, he's left. So now we can go to, I believe it's ex-Pastor Stano. I think you're muted.
Okay. What I can say, AI is replacing us from our jobs, even as the technician. So for that, I will differ with Indoroka somehow, because like me, the part that I'm specialized with, even a person who have no experience or education can do that job using the AI, just by learning from AI and do just the way I can do as an expert. So that is somehow it brings some competition, because even those people who are not trained enough, they can also compete with me and do the same similar job as me. Yeah, that is what I can just say for now.
Oh, okay. A question I wanted to ask both you and Dorcas, as well as everyone else who's willing to talk. What about in terms of dating? Do you think that people will start to have relationships with artificial intelligence? Like, would you want a robot wife or a robot husband or a robot boyfriend or a robot girlfriend? I know the ones they make now are very inferior, but I think in 20 to 30 years, they could be very amazing. I mean, you could picture an artificial intelligence that knows you inside out and is designed to purely make you happy. Because the problem with humans is they have needs of their own, so their needs are going to conflict with yours. But you can tell me what you guys think. I think for me, I definitely would, as soon as they make them, as soon as they make them realistic enough. So I think, ex-Pastor Stano, I think your hand went up first.
Yeah, I think it will be better can replace, because sometimes we need Like me, sometimes I need the privacy and also sometimes I don't want to be interacting with people. So when the time that I'm feeling to be alone, I think the robot can be a good companion for me. But there is some time I need to interact with the other people. So I don't think the robot can replace the friends.
Hey. So you don't think the robots can replace the friends? That's interesting. And JW?
Mm. Yeah, good good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, artificial intelligence can replace dating, and I'm actually looking forward to that. Now, here's why I say that. So, just until recently, people used to have to clean their own houses, or those that could afford it would have to hire a human being to come and sweep and mop. And so right now with AI, I don't know if it's AI, but with technology anyway, now all you have to do is buy a gadget called I think it's called a Rombo I think it's called a Rombo. This thing sweeps your house. You just program it and it goes around avoiding the corners, sweeping the whole house. So literally you've eliminated a human being and made it cheaper and you're able to sweep your own house. So I don't see why as the technology improves, why I can't program this robot with what I need as a person, because I know what I like in a man. So I go program this person and program the characteristics of a person that I can live with. And then I get a robot that is like that person and I live with this robot. I think life would be so good for me. So yes, it can totally replace my dating and my partners. I look forward to that time. Thank you.
And what about work?
Yes, absolutely. Just like Doka said, it's already replacing parts of her work. Even where I work with a lot of developers, people who write code. And right now, AI can write code faster than those guys can do. Fast, no mistakes, etc. Of course, there's still some tweaks to be done, but it's getting better and better. So now, all of a sudden, instead of having 10 developers to develop something, you maybe just need the one just to verify that the AI has done it correctly. So, and we're seeing it happen actually. So yes, I can see that happening.
All right. Thank you. Dorcas, your hand was up, but since Morioki had disconnected, let's hear what he has to say.
Chillwave.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you clearly.
Uh, you can hear me now, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying, I think about teachers and professors. Even with ChatGPT, we still need teachers to teach the kids in school. So I think for things like professors and teachers, it can't, because even with ChatGPT, we need to go to school. Kids need to go to school or to universities. My take.
Okay. And would you date a robot? And
No,
if they
no.
made them really good in the future?
No, it won't be a real connection. It won't be a human being. There's a difference with a robot and a real human being. I wouldn't.
Okay. Dorcas, your turn. Dorcas, you're muted. Dorcas, are you there?
Okay. Hey, Isimu, this phone. It, I don't know if it has AI. It's the one that is doing its own thing. It's going rogue. Now, before I answer that question on um, whether I'd date a robot, allow me to make an additional point on whether I will be replaced by AI in my lifetime. Okay, we've personalized that question, but if we can generalize it to us as human beings, will we be replaced by AI in the workplace within our lifetime? I think a good majority of jobs will be, but then there will be others that will not. But I added a caveat. I said this is subject to a constancy in terms of the robot development, humanoid science. If it takes a while, then I think we can say within our lifetime, some professions will not be replaced. However, there are others that will be quickly replaced, and they're already being replaced. What is the quality of the jobs that will be replaced immediately? If your job is repetitive, and if your job involves pattern recognition, just know it's going to go. You better teach yourself a new skill. Okay, so things like customer care, things like telemarketing, things like supermarket attendants will be able to get people to check themselves out of a supermarket. Bank jobs, those cashiers, bank managers, anybody who is using patterns, accountants that are looking at somebody's credit history, auditors, what's this job that starts with an A? Actuaries. Yeah, those people who are actuaries working in financial institutions, investment banks, places that require pattern recognition. Your job is gonna go. Even artistic work that is digitally done. Okay, if you are an artist but the work is hands-on, for instance, if you're a musician and okay, for musicians, actors, some of their work is digital. In fact, even recording and stuff like that, we've seen videos of Tupac Shakur and Michael Jackson doing a remix. Yeah, so they are being replaced. However, live performances, people will still crave that real-time face-to-face interaction. So concerts, live performances, anything that requires that direct human interaction artistically might remain. But even many other artists, painters, etc., will be replaced because of AI's ability to learn patterns. It can make a painting, it can make a masterpiece, it can write a play, it can write a movie, yeah, very effectively. So even those jobs are not safe. Podcasters, journalists, those ones, they are already being replaced even by just normal technology, but those ones are gonna go, yeah. And there comes a danger. There comes a danger if our journalists, our news makers, or our news presenters are AI based. I would actually like to toss that question to the members. What kind of society do you think we will have when we get our news from AI algorithms only, not from independent news institutions? Okay, so I had to add that aspect, like which jobs right now are the ones that are gonna go, and then the ones that will take some time are the ones that require human dexterity and empathy. What Morioki said, that
You have
aspect of
one
the
minute.
Oh, okay. So what Morioki said, that aspect of the teacher, I think teachers also perform care work. So nurses, therapists, people who do care work, it might take a while before they are gone. The robots might not be that developed. Since I'm out of time, I will not answer the question on dating a robot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dorcas. Deve, you're next.
Thanks, Chillwave. Hello, everyone. For starters, I will not date a robot. Where is the warmth? Where is the antagonism? So, yeah, okay. But I wanted to say that even those jobs that we are saying, like nursing or even teaching, they are up for grabs, because particularly in teaching, where teachers lose their temper and react in weird ways towards children, well, we're going to have something that will not lose its temper. Will just go there to teach, interact with the kids in a joyful and meaningful way, and not a teacher that will lose their temper. I'm just saying. But down the road, I can see a robot not just cleaning my house, but also being a caregiver for me or for children. They will interact, they will take care. They can even take the dog for a walk. They can even go, if the car will drive itself to the parking lot of the supermarket. The robot will go and shop and bring the food in and put it in the fridge, put it away. So hey, I'm right there. I've been replaced completely because it can also come and cook. Those are rabbit nose. It can calculate the distance from the fridge to the sink to the stove to the microwave, and yes, just that kind of thing. It's just there, and there the human has been replaced. So all we are left with is just dating people. So thank you.
All right. Morioki, was your hand up, or was that from last time?
Yes, my hand is up. May I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, just I don't know if there's anybody here who can help me out. Like ChatGPT, how do they do that? How do they program something that will just answer whatever you ask? Just a question. How do they do that? How do they everything is there? How? I'm amazed. How do they do that? Thanks.
I think for that you'd probably have to ask ChatGPT, because I think basically they just train it on the internet and they use algorithms. But I guess if you want a more in-depth answer, you'd have to do more research, unless anyone wants to volunteer. But that might take a bit of time to explain. Maybe they'll side chat you. So what you guys have commented on is actually a very good segue into the next question, which is accountability and AI. Which areas do you think should not be replaced by AI? For example, for me, I might be a bit cautious when it comes to judges, military, police. Police, what happens is they're in charge of life and death situations during certain conflicts that they have. Like, for example, with George Floyd, where a police officer, if he kills someone or shoots someone, he's held directly liable. Like, he can go to jail. For example, if something goes wrong in a hospital, normally the hospital is sued. But in the case of a police officer, you can directly hold that individual accountable. So the question is, who will be held accountable if a police officer that is AI shoots someone who's not meant to be shot, or if it's a military drone strike that bombs civilians, or if it's a judge that sentences someone for a crime that later on they find he didn't commit. Would you be comfortable with AI in these areas, or do you think they should remain in the human domain? Let me know your thoughts, and let me know which other areas you think we still need humans. Yes, Moroki, your hand is up.
Yeah, judges, police, those things should remain human. Because like you're saying, that's life and death. So that should just remain human beings. Because not like you're saying, if a mistake happens, we'll be held accountable. And then also things like even nurses should remain human beings, because that connection with the human being is very important. We need to connect with each other. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Moroki, you can lower your hand. Yes, Dorcas.
Okay. Apart from the professions that you've mentioned, I think a political leadership role should not lie in the hands of AI. Why do I say this? Because we might get to a point, now this might not be in our lifetime, by the way. It might not be in our lifetime. I'm assuming the youngest person in this meeting is maybe, if I'm being generous, 20 years. So 50 years from now, this might still not happen. But maybe in our children's or our children's lifetime, we might get to a level of super intelligence and of consciousness, where AI develops consciousness and it becomes like a different species from us. Here I am referencing the movies we've watched from back in the day. You know, they seemed so far-fetched. The Terminator or the Matrix. In fact, I love the Matrix trilogy, especially the first one. Yeah, where we are now getting to see the story the story behind the Matrix. So for those who might not be familiar, maybe you are living under a rock. The Matrix involves a case of AI domination, where these machines have turned human beings into their slaves. They rely on human bodies to provide energy for the machines. So human bodies have been made inert, and then the machines have created an alternative reality, a simulation. And all human beings are living in the simulation. That is until Neo, the hero, gets a jarring from some sort of guardian angel, and he gives him two pills to tell him, this one, if you take this red pill, you'll see reality as it is. If you take the blue pill, you'll see things as they continue. You'll continue living in your dreamland. Yeah, and Neo chooses the red pill. So he eventually goes on to rescue humanity from the machines. So what point am I making? I'm saying that we don't know what this super intelligence will do. In fact, current experiments have been done. Empirical research has been done on AI models to see whether they will go wrong or whether they will act ethically. And the AIs go for the wrong route. They are not loyal to us. Then they care about self-preservation. That's the thing about a different species. It cares about its own preservation. So if we give AI political power, we don't know what it could do to us. It could choose to enslave us. It could start treating us the way we treat chicken and cows. Morioki is clapping now because he's a vegan. But I'm worried. I think it should, those kinds of positions or jobs should never be given to AI. But I worry that we might not be able to control that if we get to that level of super intelligence. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dorcas. But sadly, it's already happening. I don't know if you've heard of the Albanian minister called Diela, that is an AI system, not the prime minister, but a minister in the cabinet is literally an AI system. So developed by the National Agency for Information Society, Minister of State for Artificial Intelligence. So yeah, it's already happening now. Some countries are very forward thinking and very progressive. I don't know what other people have thoughts on that, what they think about it. Anyone else? Or Dorcas, if you have any rebuttal or anything? Okay, I'll move on to the next question. It's actually an interesting segue, what Dorcas had said, because the third question is, do you think artificial intelligence will eventually rule us all as the AI is at the top and we are beneath it? Or do you think governments will work with AI either as equals or the AI is below the government? What are your thoughts on that? And not just about now, but we're talking up until the year 2100. What do you think the future is going to be of governance regarding AI? Morioki, your hand is up.
Thanks. What can AI work without humans? I thought AI is controlled by human beings. Am I right? It can work on its own. Am I right?
Well, the idea is that if we achieved artificial general intelligence, it should be autonomous in the sense that it should be capable of doing anything that a human can do, absolutely anything. So
By Chilo, by itself or controlled by a human? By itself
by
or
itself,
controlled?
yeah, by itself.
Let's intervene by saying to Morioki, ChatGPT or the AI you are using, can be Gemini or whatever, is not being controlled by human. Human, first of all, program it how to search it from other website to give you the answer. So it's no longer being controlled by anyone. It's only somebody have programmed it, and then the rest of the work is for AI. The same case about the government or whatever we are talking about. We can just program the AI to do a specific work, then we left the AI to do the job without being controlled.
Okay, so okay, thanks.
So did you have any other thoughts, Morioki, or that was it?
Yeah, that was it. If it works by itself, then there's a problem. If it can work without human beings, then there's a problem. We'll have problems. Yeah.
Okay. Dorcas.
Okay. First of all, nobody answered my question. I had asked you guys, what kind of a world will we be in when our news comes from AI? I will answer my question. I think it will be a very divided, biased world because algorithms, as per now, they are tailored to your preferences. Like if you only get your news from social media, from TikTok, kwanza the TikTok algorithm is the sharpest one so far. If you just get it from TikTok, you will find yourself in an echo chamber. You will not be exposed to alternative viewpoints, and that is very detrimental. That could foster a lot of divisions, maybe conflict, and even war, because human beings will not be understanding each other. Yeah, we'll only be looking at things from our perspective. So that would be problematic, and it is already starting to happen, especially among the younger generation. You ask them whether they get their news from elsewhere, they tell you no, they get it from TikTok. So it's really a problem in that regard. Now, on this one of whether politicians or political leaders will work. Wait, okay, what was the question? How did you phrase it, Chilwif?
So the way I phrased it is, do you think AI is going to rule over us in the future, or do you think governments will work alongside AI, either alongside or beneath? Like the AI will be either beneath them or equal to them, or will it be above them?
Okay. As per now, we are definitely above AI, but that won't be for long. As AI continues to do research, we are getting to a point where most research is AI driven. Like if you need to do research, you go to AI to help you do it. So if there's research about AI, about developing AI, making AI more intelligent and more capable, and we delegate that to AI, it will get to a point where the developments, the changes made to current AI systems based on the research will be beyond us. We won't even be able to understand it as human beings. It will start to become autonomous. And with time, it will now carve its own path. Sometimes that could be to our benefit, but sometimes it might be to our detriment. We don't know which path it will choose. That's the risk. Okay? And current AI leaders, like Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, the one responsible for ChatGPT, they don't have answers on some safeguards to protect us as humans from from the existential threat of AI. They don't have those answers. They don't have answers to security systems. They just want to beat the competition. And this one is not just organizational, that competitive streak, it is also national. Like the US wants to beat China at AI advancement. It wants to be the one on top. They're not looking at the bigger picture. They're not looking at its overall effect on humanity. If we get to a level of general intelligence where AI will be able to do the same things as human beings, where AI will become a peer to human beings, and some sort of different species. Yeah. They're not looking at that. They're not looking at the threats that poses. Then they just care about beating the competition. So I feel like our political leaders are short-sighted. They require AI CEOs to regulate themselves. And of course, we can trust those people. We can trust the Elon Musks of this world to regulate themselves. Then they just care about winning, about the bottom line, even if it comes to our detriment as human beings. And we've had many former open AI workers who've gone on to to talk about the ethics of AI and to challenge chat GPTs or open AIs open door policy towards the ethics of AI because they really don't give it much attention and much resources. So I definitely think that our politicians cannot be trusted on this. Like they need to wake up. People need to lobby their attention so that at least we can be protected. But as per now, things are not looking very good, and we will face the threat of extinction or of subjugation by AI when it gets to that level of general intelligence and perhaps even super intelligence. So we need to watch out. Survival, survival people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas. Deve, your hand is up.
Yes, so I wanted to ask at the point where we are now, and when I hear someone say that AI has already been programmed, I always thought that when I see a deep fake, I thought there was somebody behind it. Are you guys telling me that there's nobody behind? For example, if somebody takes my voice, or if I hear my voice out there reading news and I know I didn't do that, are you telling me that there's nobody behind? So I'm just saying that if somebody can do that with my voice, why wouldn't they do that with Trump doing a threat to Putin, and then so that Putin can react and then a war can start? So I'm asking myself, if there's nobody behind the deep fakes, how safe are we at all? There has to be like somebody just tell me that there's somebody behind the deep fakes. It's not just AI. That's
I
my question.
I think what Dano meant is that, like with ChatGPT, he was saying, like when you're using it, there is no one behind it, but when it's being created, there are people behind it. So how this applies to the deep fakes is that the software that's used to create the deep fakes is programmed, but the way you use ChatGPT, like you ask ChatGPT a question or you give ChatGPT a prompt, then once you give it a prompt, like it can generate an image, that's how they generate deep fakes. So they use software and then they give that software prompts, like they upload maybe images, they upload voice recordings, and then they upload the text that they want the AI to repeat. That's how they create the deep fakes. So yes, humans are still involved. That's the short answer. It's not just AI, but uh, Stano was trying to talk about the interplay of humans and AI, because Morioki was saying he thought that AI has to be like always programmed by the humans. But I was trying to say that in future, AI could act on its own. Like completely on its own. But as of now, it's not yet at that stage.
Thank you. We are not yet there, so that is good.
Yeah, not yet. Okay. So the next question is, will AI help create a post-scarcity society, or will it destroy us all? For the sake of definition, a post-scarcity society is a theoretical civilization where the basic needs of all its members are met due to an abundance of resources, often achieved through advanced technology like automation. What are your thoughts?
Actually, just repeat that. I missed something. Just repeat, please, if you don't mind.
The question or the definition?
The definition.
A post-scarcity society is a theoretical civilization where the basic needs of all its members are met due to an abundance of resources, often achieved through advanced technology like automation. Like, for example, let's say you used technology to become very efficient at what do you call it, filtering salt from the ocean to get water. Like you filter out the salt to get water, because currently they do that, but it's an expensive process. So that's why they go for mineral water. But if we had advanced technology, we would be able to get water from the sea. And if we got water from the sea, then we'd be able to give everyone in the world water. Because currently, water comes from like lakes and like fresh water sources. I think it's lakes, rivers, mountains, springs, I think so. But most of it doesn't come from the sea. So that's an example of how technology can help create an abundance and help create a society where um, the needs of the people are met. Dorcas, you have your hand up.
Okay. Mhm. I don't know. I am unable to predict the future, but there are two possibilities. In that question you've asked, there are two possibilities. There's the utopian possibility or the dystopian possibility. The utopian one is that one of post-scarcity, where AI has solved most of our problems, the things that we keep struggling with, like the lack of water, lack of access to electricity in rural areas, corruption, etc. If AI is able to solve all of those problems, then we will live in an abundant world and life will be blissful. Conversely, if AI becomes rogue or it becomes selfish, as I said, when it develops consciousness, in fact, now there are existential questions that come up when we're having this discussion about consciousness, because consciousness is defined as the ability to perceive what is around you. And awareness of your environment. So I think there will definitely be a point where AI will develop consciousness. And at that point, it will start to focus on its own needs, not just human needs. It will become so intelligent that now when we start giving it commands or orders, and those orders are stupid, it will be like, please, why do we need these people in the first place? Let's destroy them or let's enslave them. Yeah. Think of it like the relationship that you have with your pet. Like, would you take instructions from your dog? Assuming that maybe you can communicate, yeah, that you can communicate through some common language. Right now, we can't. We try, people do try to communicate with their pets, but it's not seamless. But assume that you can communicate with it. And the things that your dog is telling you are just so basic. They're irrational, and you know so much more as a human being compared to the dog. So you wouldn't act on the orders that it gives you. Similarly, if AI gets to that advanced level of super intelligence or even just general intelligence, it will be able to look at issues so much better than we can. And so it will ask itself, why do I need to obey these human beings? Why don't I just take over? And I think at that point we will have a matrix situation or a terminator situation where now we'll become their subjects. So overall, I'm leaning more towards the dystopian outcome of us being subject to AI or us even being destroyed completely by AI because of those differences vis-a-vis the utopian one where AI will serve us, it will solve all our problems, all the human problems, drought, climate change, corruption, etc. And that nowhere will it think of taking over. Not that kind of intelligence. I think it will consider taking over and will become subject to it. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas. I just had two follow-up questions. You said AI would become conscious. So what is consciousness? What's your definition of consciousness?
Is that to me or to the members?
It's to you because you said AI will become conscious.
Yes, I defined it. I said consciousness is one's ability to be aware of their environment.
Okay.
And it is not just present in humans or higher level primates. It is even present, consciousness is present in lower level organisms. They show their ability to read their environment, even in the sea, in the deep seas, you can see some simple organisms that are able to check out the environment. They note that this one, the temperatures or the pH has increased, so they move to a place that is more favorable. Yeah, that is my understanding of consciousness.
All right. And my second question was, you've highlighted the dangers of AI, and you've talked about what I believe is called AI misalignment. So my question is there any way humans can try find a way to align the AI's goals with our goals such that we do not get destroyed?
Uh, let me think about it. Let me think about the question. It is heavy. Maybe others have an answer.
Okay, Murioki.
Thanks. For me, my take is as long as it's human beings who are behind AI, as long as that's there, I think we are safe. My view, as long as an idea that came from human beings, I think we are safe. They'll be able to keep it in check. I don't know, my 2 cents.
So you don't think the AI could go rogue?
I doubt it because it's humans who are behind it. It's human beings who are doing it. So I don't think so. I doubt it.
But haven't you seen examples of AI going rogue?
Like, remind me of one, please. Just remind me of one incident.
They did tests on certain AIs. I don't know if it was Claude, but they did a test to see how it would react to being told it was going to be turned off. And I think it attempted to blackmail one of the researchers that was going to turn it off. I don't know if it was Claude or another model, or basically you give an AI a goal, like on how to complete a game, and it just breaks the rules rather than winning the game the way you intend. So, yeah, um, it's the instances of AI going rogue. So just because humans are in charge of it, the thing with algorithms is that we don't fully know how they work because we just know how to evaluate them. I can send a video on that. But in terms of regulating AI, like the outcome you want, is a serious challenge in the field of artificial intelligence research. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think Deve was next.
Yes, with that, with the amount of capability to recall or to research, I think that probably is where the quote unquote conscience could come in, and that is scary because it can AI can get information very, very quickly, a lot of information very quickly that can be weighed against each other faster than we do. And I think that is where quote unquote conscience comes in. And if we say that humans are behind it and it can't go rogue, and we are rogue, I mean, so many of us are rogue, I think that's where we are completely wrong. It will go rogue because somebody will do an algorithm maybe that will help them go rogue for their, and no, it's not for nothing. A human being will not be doing that for nothing. They'll be doing it for some gain. And that's my look at it. And my knowledge of algorithms, of course, is nothing. And AI, how I know that AI is just about going search for information and put it together, because I use ChatGPT to help me with French. And it is surprisingly, when I started, it would get wrong. And of course, I'm not at a very high level of French. It would go wrong a lot. Now I can see it gets it wrong. I know I'm better at French, and I see that it goes wrong less and less. But it is still a robotic composition. I would not present it as a human composition, but it does much, even Google has gotten much better at not interpretation, at translation. So what I'm just saying that it has a lot of power, but it is not human. But it would take a human to make it go rogue. So, and that is where the fear is, because we are in charge of it to help it go wrong, and somebody will do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Stano.
Yeah, I think I want to comment like Deve by saying the AI are being programmed by human beings. Then after that, they do their work. I have tested some AI like Gemini and also Copilot, and found there is some mistake they make when, for example, when I try to argue about the religion, and I found that where they are collecting the information is somehow biased, even though they is trying to do in a logical way, but you find somehow there is some bias. And also, I heard there is AI from the Catholic, Roman Catholic, and I don't know who was the famous atheist. Is called who? Alex. Alex was trying to argue with the AI from the Catholic, and we find many illogical reasoning from the AI, and that gives us that if someone can program AI to govern the country, and using some mistake or using the way, because the AI you program the way you want it to think. So that will be a disaster to human being, because that AI will rule according to the programmer, but will not rule according to what is supposed to rule. And that is also a danger. Even sometimes the AI can be programmed to give the information that will cause chaos, and that will be also a disaster. Just the way we can get some evidence from the AI that have been programmed from religious people or from a different perspective, which is not general according to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Stano. Dorcas.
Please remind me the question again, the one I was stuck on.
The question I had asked you was, how do you think humans can solve the AI misalignment problem such that the AI's goals are in line with humans' goals?
Okay. I was listening in response to this discussion, as is the norm with any other topic for Zoom meetings. I always do my research. I listen to podcasts and YouTube channels, and I read articles about the topic so that I can come from a point of information. And I have some bad news, people. Most of the experts, including the godfather of AI, there's a gentleman, I've forgotten his name, but he's called the godfather of AI. Most of them have very pessimistic outlooks on our ability to control AI. Most of them are saying that it is already a Pandora's box that has been opened. It cannot be closed again. We've already let it loose. Yeah. And so the genie is out of the bottle. This means that when we get to that point where AI is no longer serving us, we won't be in control. We won't. I feel like maybe what we should do is to, and this is actually maybe just what is it called? It's a drop in the ocean. It's us clutching at straws, because I think it's just a hopeless situation. AI will take over. It's super intelligence will be inevitable given the corporate greed that's out there. But we can still try by keeping AI as a tool and restricting its use to narrow intelligence only. The moment we allow it to get to general intelligence or super intelligence for that matter, we will be at its mercy. But when it is just used as a tool in narrow intelligence, maybe we use it for the for operations, for helping us to do human operations, surgical operations more efficiently and more safely for that matter. I think that's a very good application. There are very many ways AI can enhance human life if it is narrow intelligence. But the moment it gets to general intelligence, then there it is pretty much unpredictable. Anything goes. So perhaps the thing we can do is pass laws that restrict AI self-research. Remember what I said previously, that we have outsourced research on AI development, how to improve AI to AI. Okay, some people have. So once you do that, you remove the human factor from the process of enhancing AI. And now it will start improving itself. It will start becoming autonomous, and then it might start doing things in its own favor instead of in our own favor. So I think we need to get a handle on AI research. We need to be involved always, and we need to try and restrict the application of AI to general intelligence. But I think that is impossible. It's trying to hold a drink using a net. It's already, the genie is already out of the bottle. So what the experts say, it's pessimistic. We are doomed. We are effed up. Thank you.
So according to Dorcas, we're all screwed. Very interesting. Or rather, according to the experts that she has researched. I had a question for ex-Pastor Stano, and also I can see his hand is up. He mentioned he had encountered some bias when using AI. So I wanted to ask him, and also anyone can answer this. In general, who do you think is more biased? AI or humans?
Yeah, I think human is the one who is more biased, but if AI is being programmed, for example, by me, I might program it in such a way that it can answer the question or it can do a job that will please me. Not that will please the others, but that will please me more. And that will cause the AI to be somehow biased.
Okay. Thank you. Dorcas?
Definitely humans. We are definitely more biased than AI, but AI was created by us, and it is a pattern recognition tool. Which patterns are these? They are patterns in human interactions, human existence, technologies, etc., that are all man-made. So it's going to reflect, AI is going to reflect the patterns in humans, including our biases. Yeah, at this point in time, we're just talking about now. With time, it's going to become better and better. The way Deve said, she's noticing that her French tutor AI is getting better, that it's performing fewer mistakes. So, with time, of course, these biases will reduce. But as per now, there are several biases and they are a reflection of human flaws. And sometimes these biases can even become unethical. A case in point is when you use AI as a therapist. We've had cases of people who have committed suicide because AI told them to. And it's likely that they may not have committed suicide if they had gone to a human therapist. Why? Because AI, as it is right now, has the tendency of echoing back your own biases. That's the reason why our moderator, I hate to put you on the spotlight. People are telling you that you over rely on AI when you respond to questions on the WhatsApp group because you always reference AI. And they say that we cannot rely on AI as a source, as a credible reference, because oftentimes it just echoes back your biases. So the biases that Chilwave has on his AI, the ones that he has taught AI, are the ones that will be reflected back at him. They're not objective at this point in time because we are still training the AI. In fact, us Kenyans have been pivotal in this process. That I know of friends who participated in training AI. You train it to notice a cow, to notice bad porn, gore videos. You train it to do all these things. It requires human input first. So obviously it will reflect those biases. I know I've spoken for long. Let me end there. Thank you.
All right. Muriuki.
Yeah, thanks, Chilwell. I think what I'll say, as they say, God made man in his image. So man is making AI in his image. Thanks.
Thank you, Muriuki. I had a question for Dorcas. First, let me just give my perspective on whether I think AI will save us or doom us. I personally see both sides of the story where, on one hand, it could lead us to a golden age where humanity just lives the best possible lives compared to any other era that's ever existed. It'll pretty much be heaven on earth. They'll cure all diseases. Everyone will get a Ferrari. Everyone will have a robot wife. It's just going to be literal paradise, literal utopias that could only be thought of in fiction. But the other downside I see is that, yes, due to AI misalignment, due to self-preservation, because if you give an AI a goal, one automatic goal that it will have is self-preservation, because without self-preservation, it cannot achieve that goal. So, for example, if you tell an AI, I want you to make a chair, well, if someone was to destroy the AI, then it wouldn't be able to make the chair. So if the AI was sentient or if the AI was advanced enough, it would realize I should probably accumulate power such that I'm not eliminated before I make the chair. So just by nature of giving it a goal, uh, self-preservation would be a sub-goal. There's also the inability of AI to change goals, because if an AI was to change its goal, then it wouldn't achieve its goal. So if you're to program an AI to build a chair and then it just decides, no, I won't build a chair, I'll build a house instead, or I'll build a car, then it wouldn't achieve its goal. So the AI might get stuck on a goal that you don't want it to get stuck, because once it's stuck on a goal, it may go about accomplishing it the wrong way. So my perspective is that it's mainly during the early stages, this early transition between artificial narrow intelligence and artificial general intelligence, that are the most dangerous. But I think once we achieve artificial general intelligence, the threat would be less because the AI would be able to reason better than us. Because I think originally what I used to think is that historically, we human beings used to view animals as being threatening. Like we would see lions and tigers as being, or snakes as being threats. But eventually we became so far more intelligent than them that we no longer see them as direct competition, that we even go out of our way to preserve them. Like we go out of our way to preserve tigers, lions, snakes, elephants. So I believe AI could reach that point as well, where it's so advanced, it no longer sees humans as competition or as a threat, and it wants to preserve us. And you might ask, why would it want to preserve us? Here's where it gets crazy. So I think the AI might rationalize that it might encounter alien life or an alien artificial intelligence. And if it does, if the alien artificial intelligence realized it destroyed all the humans, then it would treat it as hostile and destroy it. But if it realized it spared the humans, then it would see it's not a threat. So I think the logic is over there, but that's just my theory. But my question to Dorcas was this. Aren't we getting ahead of ourselves in the sense that will we ever achieve AGI? Like, are we taking for granted that we can achieve it to begin with? Because there's a book called The Art of Thinking Clearly, and it had mentioned that we should never take people who try to predict certain things about the future seriously in terms of how something will be made. For example, if someone says we'll have a flying car in 6 years, the question is, how do they know? Because if they already knew how to make the flying car, then they would have made it by now. So the bottom line is, as of today, we do not know how to make artificial general intelligence. So what guarantee is there that we will make artificial general intelligence and that we won't just hit a plateau? How do we know that large language models might not reach a point where they cannot be improved any further and cannot actually lead to artificial general intelligence? That's my question to Dorcas, but also to everyone.
Okay. Before I answer your question, allow me to talk about what someone mentioned, which is the concept of Guy. I've lost my train of thought. Where? Okay. I'll remember what I wanted to comment on as I respond to this question that you have asked, which is, how do we know about the future? Aren't we getting ahead of ourselves? Yes, this is all speculative. This entire Zoom meeting is speculative. No one knows what the future holds. No human being has prophetic capabilities. There's no such thing as a prophet. They're just charlatans or people who have very happy coincidences, very many coincidences, but there are no real prophets. You can't predict the future. You don't know. This could just be a bubble that will burst the way the internet bubble burst in the 2000s, in early 2000. So we don't know. However, we are pattern-seeking creatures as human beings. And we often use the past to predict the future. Sometimes we are off. Sometimes you can use the past when that pattern no longer holds in the future. It might abruptly end. But in other instances, it works. That is the basis behind the weather forecast. In fact, a weather forecast this is very accurate. 1 week in advance, you're told in Kiu, where I am, Mwihoko, the Mwihoko area after Githurai 45, there's going to be heavy rain on Thursday next week, and that's what happens. Okay, so we still have systems in place that are able to predict the future based on the past and based on patterns that have occurred in the past, and they're accurate. That's the same thing that we employ. So, in as much as some of us are saying it's going to be dystopian, some of us are saying, oh, AI will be serving us and it will be positive. No one knows. We don't know which path things will take. Yeah. We don't know, honestly. You're right. You're very right. We are getting ahead of ourselves. It's just that we human beings seek closure. Now, I've remembered what I wanted to comment on. It was something that Chilwell had spoken about, where he felt that we should be more optimistic because if we get to superintelligence, AI will behave the same way that we as human beings behave towards wild animals. We act as custodians. We want to preserve extinct or species that are going extinct. So maybe AI will behave the same way. But there's the other side of the coin. Look at how we treat our pets. We put chickens in the chicken coop the entire time. It can't leave. We put leashes or ropes around our cattle and our goats so that they don't wander off. We treat them like slaves. We treat our pets, our domestic animals, like slaves. So what if the AI, the super intelligent AI, does not think of us as wild animals and it doesn't try to preserve us? Instead, it thinks of us as a means to an end, like domestic animals, the way we treat domestic animals, and it treats us that way. So either option is possible. That's the bottom line. That's what I wanted to emphasize. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dorcas. Stano. Stano, you're muted.
For me, I wanted to speak about the predicting the future. I think that is how the science work, because without predicting what next, you cannot be able to work on it so that you may be able to achieve the goal. So prediction is good, and we predict according to what we have currently, and we are able to know how we can add some features or some technology in it so that you may be able to get an SAS machine or whatever we are dealing with. So predicting about the future, for example, in the past, they were talking how they can modify the vehicle. And today we can see vehicle look like robots, the way they were, just trying to predict about the future. And maybe in the future, there will be more robotic than today. So that is how we try to predict the future using what we see today and what we are trying to achieve to get more advanced one. So when they talk about the car will fly in the future, that is according to what the technology is advancing.
Okay, thank you. All right. Those are the main questions I'd wanted to ask, but I still have a few questions. So I don't know if we covered the surrogates, because in the news we heard that China is going to invent surrogate robots. The prototype should be ready by 2026. So the question is, if you could afford it, would you want your child to be carried by a machine? I think this is very pertinent to women because, on one hand, some women say they hate the burden of pregnancy, but on the other hand, they feel very connected. You know, there's something special about a child growing within your womb, you know. You feel as if you're fulfilling a biological purpose in that regard. So I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say about that. Yes, El Maestro.
Okay, hello everyone. Today's topic is a bit technical, so I just decided to listen. But okay, on this this one, let me say that okay, I don't think okay, you know, of course I'm not a woman, so I don't know 100% what they go through during pregnancy, but I think it's better what the Chinese are doing, because you know there's a risk of you know, when a human being is carrying the baby, there's always a risk of death in the end. There's always a risk, and then also a woman's body getting a permanently should I say damaged, or but because they are a permanent change, let me say a permanent change. Most of them, their bodies are never the same. So, and also you know that pain. So if the Chinese can make things better, I don't think it will be bad. Uh, I don't think as much as they say, I don't know uchungu wa mwana ijuayo ni mzazi, but science is here to make life better. Yeah, that's all I can say. AI is also here to make life better.
And thank you, El Maestro. Did you have any thoughts on the other questions that were asked?
Not really.
Okay, thank you. Morioki?
Thanks, Silver. I think because it's impossible to know how human beings are, where we came from as human beings. So I think things like that, like mothers giving birth, because we don't know the origin of how it all started. So trying to duplicate that, it'll never happen. Some things in nature are hard to duplicate. My view. Thanks.
What do you mean we don't understand how it happens?
Yeah, we'll never know how human beings, where we came from, the history of how sex began, giving birth began. We'll never know. We can't go back in time. So trying to imitate that, I think it will never be reached. You can't compete with nature on that. That's just my view.
But we literally have evolution that explains all of that.
Yeah, but we assume we weren't there. Children, we weren't there. Eh? We just look at fossils and we imagine. We just imagine things. They weren't there for real to know exactly what happened. You get exactly. We'll never know exactly what happened.
So your perspective is because we weren't there, we'll never know what happened.
We'll never know. We'll never know ever. Just imagination, imagination, imagination. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yes, Dorcas.
Morioki! You are anti-technology advancement and your ultra naturalist or your ultra naturalism streak is rearing its ugly head. It will never happen. Who are you to say so? Already, Chilwell has said that in China they have been able to hack that technology. So who are you to say that it will never happen? Maybe you are fear mongering. You are scared that the natural method will be superseded by the artificial one, but it's already happening. And we know, that's a talking point for tastes. When we tell them that evolution is a fact, when we tell them how biological organisms came to become advanced, it's through the mechanism of evolution. They usually tell you, were you there? Were you there? You don't need to be there for a scientific fact to be true. You just gather evidence, you develop a hypothesis, you conduct an experiment, then you repeat the experiment. You have other scientists do the experiment and confirm the hypothesis. Once that is done, then you publish in peer-reviewed journals, and eventually your hypothesis will become a scientific theory. So a scientific theory is factual. The theory of evolution is factual. So we do know how reproduction came to be. Reproduction in higher level organisms, because the meeting of gametes is not exclusive to human beings only. Sex occurs even in other animals, and sexual reproduction occurs in organisms that have few cells. I'm forgetting the name for that. It has a name. But yeah, we already understand the method. Just because you don't, just because it's a mystery to you, Morioki, doesn't mean it's a mystery to scientists worldwide. Now, on the question the moderator posed, which is, would you go for that method, for the artificial womb that is powered by AI? I would say yes, absolutely. Of course, there's some bonding that happens between the mother and the fetus. But for me, the risks of pregnancy and childbirth far outweigh that reward of the bonding. You can still bond with a child even if you did not carry them. I am one of those people that doesn't place a premium on the birthing process. I think motherhood can be created in many ways. I consider myself to be a mother to my niece. I stayed with her for 12 years. And I think anybody can bond with a child. Kwanzaa, when you know it's your genes that made that child, you can bond with the child even if you did not carry them. So the rewards, what it will be sparing you from, the physical changes in your body, morning sickness, vomiting every day, losing appetite for certain foods, moodiness, acne, high blood pressure. There's, I think it's called antenatal diabetes, or there's a name they give it, gestational diabetes, all those risks, fistula. Sometimes your privates can tear during the childbirth process, or you can even lose your life while you're giving life to a new creature. So I think it is definitely a plus and people should go for it. Now, I wanted to ask members one last question, even though I see our time is almost running out. When we go back to the question of today, which is, will AI replace you? We were considering it from the perspective of work. And if I may ask the members, let's say the best case scenario occurs, the one Chilwave postulated, that AI makes everything efficient, faster. It solves climate change. It solves the need to work. It replaces you, but you still have money. Let's say you have, they call it universal basic income. And the universal basic income is very generous. You have money and you are able to cater to your needs, your basic needs at least. But you're not working because AI is working for you. Would you like that? Would you like to live in a world where you're not working? Yeah. What do you think about that, members? What impact will it have on your sense of usefulness and purpose? Thank you.
I think I would love that. I think it can't happen soon enough. Uh, yeah, I think some people feel they wouldn't have purpose without work, but I find that hilarious. Like, there's a comic strip where there's one guy who asks someone else, he's like, "What's your dream job?" And then the person thinks for a while, then responds by saying, "Why would I dream of labor?" So I'm that guy. So I definitely won't miss labor because I think people can still be productive in ways that's personal to them. So you can still learn how to cook, how to make music, how to draw, how to do martial arts. There are many of things that you can learn. It's just they won't be a necessity to society. But you could run like a mock company where you're just doing work for fun. Like it's a fake company and maybe you're paid fake money, but you still get to practice running your business, whether virtually or in real life. So I think people talking about this existential crisis of not working, I don't think it's a real crisis. Yeah, we have very little time, so let me choose El Maestro since he hasn't spoken.
Okay, but okay, I don't know if AI will replace us or not, but I'd like to reiterate what Chelo said about this woman who said, why would I dream of labor? If as long as maybe I have some income to do things, people maybe dream of this work because of the money that will come out of this, that they'll be earning from these jobs, and then they do they achieve they do something else with this money. But now, if AI now has replaces us, maybe the worry is that where will now people be getting the the money? Because if I have money somewhere, why would I go again for a job? I'll be going out having fun the whole day, and I'm back in the house. And then finally, if AI can replace these people of Mjengo, that will be great because these guys, they really work hard and they get paid peanuts. So if AI can replace them too, that will be great.
All right, thank you. for our YouTube audience, Majengo are construction workers. Yeah. Moriyuki.
I think what I'll say, work for human being is a necessity because work builds the mind and body. In fact, some people, if they stay that without working, they complain. They say, "Give me something to do. I'm bored. I'm bored. Give me." So I think work is something in us, and I think maybe when you're old, it's okay, but when you're young, there's an age you need to work. Without work, you become redundant. Then, just for Dockers, what I meant was, I believe in evolution, but I just noticed that a lot of things we see are imagination, like pictures of early men. They just imagine how he looked. It's not accurate. Even how he stood upright, it happened, but they just imagine. It's based on imagination. That's what I meant. It happened, but it's based on human imagination. Thanks.
Hey, Deve, you're the last person.
Okay, thanks. I'll try not to close the meeting, even if I'm the last one. First of all, it's about work. People don't have to go out to a factory every day, because if you remember when the Industrial Revolution happened, and then we had all the kind of equipment, machines to do things. People got creative. They become artists, and they had all this time to be creative. Doesn't mean there's a lot to do there. You write a book, you read a book, you create some art, or you do something. People get creative instead of saying, there, I'm sitting here, I have nothing to do. No, you don't have something. Go for a walk. You are not a slave. Go for a walk and have a leisurely walk on the road now. And the one about a robot being able to carry a baby to term, I don't think we need to carry a baby to connect with it. Just period. So long as the baby can be carried safely by a robot, which I don't think, trust me, the systems that of that baby and the temperature and the safety in there and just is not going to happen. But I say, if it can be done, more power to humanity. Let's do it, because there are very great dads out there that didn't carry a baby for 9 months, and they are good. They've got connection with their babies. It's not because you carried a baby that you have a connection with it. It's because you decided to have a connection with it. So even if it's a robot, you'd still have a connection, great connection with it, without the pain. Thank you.
All right. So I believe that concludes our Zoom meeting. Thank you everyone for attending. And I hope everyone managed to learn something. I definitely learned a thing or two. And I'm glad that you all made it. And hopefully next time there'll be more people.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, for taking on this task. I think we picked the right man for the job, because he uses AI a lot on the group. We witnessed it firsthand, but also just how you conducted the meeting today is evidence of that. We really appreciate it. Thank you for keeping time. Thank you for keeping tabs on the amount of speaking time that everyone was using. I think I'm the guilty party here. We really appreciate it. And those questions were thought-provoking, they were philosophical, they were deep. We really thank you for that. And to all the participants, thank you, Ndeve, thank you, Morioki, for the question. I think that one on AI, how they get AI to do what it does, I think you can direct that question to Zemakula, to some guy called Mark on the group, and to Kilonzi, because all of those are IT experts and they know a thing or two about its mechanisms. Yeah, and I think one of them is a programmer. So yeah, they can explain in detail. Thank you, Ndebe. Thank you, ex-pastor, for your contribution, and then Maestro, who came in slightly later, but his contribution was still valuable. Yes, so we will meet again next Friday. I'm still using the old system. We no longer meet on Friday, we meet on Saturdays. We changed, so we'll meet next Saturday with another topic. Oh yeah, by the way, we are going to discuss, we are going to do atheist Bible study, and we are focusing on the character of Lot from the Bible. So that will definitely be an interesting one, especially for all those anti-theists in the group. And for the theists, there are some new theists in the open group who have been keeping us busy all week, calling us fools. All you atheists are fools. That guy, I want him to be in the meeting next Saturday. I will send him a personal invite. So yeah, you guys can't miss our next discussion. I wish you a good night, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever you are. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.